Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Down to Hangout FM, the podcast where you can hang out. I'm your host, Maalik, and I thank you all for clicking this video and taking time out of your day to watch this video. I got a good movie here today that I was really looking forward to. I talked about how much I wanted to see this movie when the trailers came out because I was intrigued by the trailers, and I saw other trailers and it kind of spoiled it a little bit for me and took me out of it. I wish that I could have kept some things from secrets, but I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. There's a lot more secrets in this movie than I thought. First of all, I want to shout out to Ryan Coogler for putting this movie together. This is well needed for black cinema, and it will live on in cinema history until the end of time. Ryan Coogler masterfully blends horror, thriller, musical elements, and history into this film. It achieves some humor elements in there as well, and not just representing Black American culture, but Native and Asian American culture, African traditions, and yes, even some Irish representation. There's definitely a lot of cultural symbolism and religious symbolism as well. Every cinematic and stylistic choice Ryan Coogler made in this movie enhances the film tremendously. Every shot either invokes nostalgia, fear, sadness, or humor all at once. And I would like to also thank Michael B. Jordan for giving us another stellar performance to add to his catalog. He did a great job playing twins that clearly had two different motivations. As you guys know, Michael B. Jordan is playing two twins named Smoke and Stack and brings these characters to life with distinct energy and emotion. The connection between the brothers feels distant, but yet, due to the nature of the script, feels woven together. Also, I want to shout out to Hailee Steinfeld. She also did a great job in this movie as well. I thought her character was going to be something completely different. I thought she was going to be an undercover racist or maybe even a Klans member. But it was completely different than what I thought her character was going to be, and I really appreciate that. Also making their acting debut, Miles Catton. He played his character beautifully. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If they're making a live action Miles Morales movie soon, he'll definitely be my first pick. I loved his character a lot, actually. He was a breakout character for me. And I loved how he played the guitar. I love how beautifully he sang. His voice was deep and yet had a lot of power behind it. I love how he approached the character because that's what I'm looking for as an actor. Throughout my time watching movies, I would throw myself into characters and see how I would approach certain lines and see if I would have done the same thing or something different. And every time Miles or even Michael got on the scene, I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I would approach it. And he looks like a natural out there. However, these weren't the only performances that I liked. Jack O'Connell, who I've noticed isn't getting enough attention for his performance, was fantastic. He played the vampire role very well. I love how his character was very charming and charismatic, like those old school vampire movies featuring Bela Lugosi. And to be honest, I thought he was going to be a racist vampire as well. But the more the movie goes on, the more it turns out he's not. He's actually trying to help. It means the cost of your soul, but he actually cares and is quite convincing. And he uses his charm and charismatic nature to the point where it's almost seductive. I also want to go back to Ryan Coogler choosing his character to be Irish, because even though the treatment of Irish people isn't as the same as black people were treated, there are some similarities between the two, and even in the Chinese. However, before I get to that, I'd like to point out some other performances that I enjoyed. Jane Lawson was very beautiful in this movie, and I love how she approached her character as well, and her singing was very, very top-notch. And I knew she looked familiar too, and I realized she was the mayor in Running for the Batman, featuring Robert Pattinson. So I was very happy to see her getting some acting roles. I also saw her in The Woman King, but it feels good to know that she's getting some constant work. Also, my boy Omar Benson Miller was also in this movie as well. I was happy to see him again. I remember seeing him for the first time in the Transformers movie. He always played that funny character. Also, he was in Ballers. And for the rap fans out there, 8 Mile and Get Rich or Die Trying. Wimney Mustaku was my third favorite character in this movie. She's an actress that is getting better and better the more I see her. It's the same with Hailee Steinfeld. Like, the more I see her in things, the more I love her as an actress. Also, the actresses also did a great job portraying strong female characters who balance their strength, but also their personal pain while supporting the men around them. Last but definitely not least, Delroy Lindo was brilliant in this film. He had most of the funny moments in this film. He also had an emotional scene talking about a guy he knew, and he died at the hand of the Klan. He brings gravitas to the role as Delta and the main anchor in the atmosphere of the juke joint. Now, remember when I said Ryan choosing Jack O'Connell's character to be Irish had historical context? His character may have been not morally complex compared to Namor Killmonger. However, when you line up his actions with what happened in the movie compared to history, you can sympathize with it a little bit. Because in the movie, it makes it seem white people bad, black people good, and white vampire coming to suck the black culture, and I truly believe that's a surface level way of thinking about it. Like I said previously, Irish people in this country, while not as nearly as bad as what happened to black people, Irish people and black people do have similarities, believe it or not. Irish music has very similar to the blues, as you saw in the movie. Tap dancing has a strong presence in both African and Irish history, and also Christianity was forced upon the Irish the same way it was forced on black Americans during slavery. Remick, Jack O'Connell's character, saw black and Chinese characters as allies. Remick came to America and lost his connection to his people. And when he saw Samuel play for the first time, that was it. Remick wanted to use his music to reconnect with his people after seeing amends, hearing that Sammy had the ability to not only to connect to his past, but to the future, which was displayed on a beautiful scene where Miles displayed his music prowess. He wanted to gain what he lost, but being open to having new allies on his side as well. Remick further tried to relate to Sammy by reciting the prayer alongside him, basically saying, yeah, I know this prayer too. It was forced upon my people just like it was forced upon yours. But these words mean nothing to me because you see the situation that we're all in. It was really the pain because he was lonely, but he just went about it the wrong way. The movie is about immortality, and Ryan picking vampires as the main source of evil was brilliant. Humans are ever evolving, changing the culture, builds immortality, while vampires stay the same, not evolving, not growing, never moving on, and not having the control over their life even with their immortality. Because even in the mid-credit scene, Haley Steinfeld's character and Stack, Michael B. Jordan's character, are both alive, both vampires, and they lived through decades and they still wanted to be connected back to the South. They missed that feeling of being in the moment during that time. Stack wanted to feel human again by wanting to let his cousin play for the last time. Stack and even Mary knew that Sammy was the only person that knew them before they turned. The vulnerability that he had with his cousin again. Also, the post-credits scene in this movie is amazing as well. As you know, the post-credits scenes are mostly used to set up what's coming up next, like the Marvel movies. But not here. Ryan Coogler tells another story. Sammy singing "This Little Light of Mine" is synonymous to the movie because we use sunlight to kill vampires. Throughout the movie, Ryan uses the sun and music as a sign of rebellion, healing of trauma, and truth. Ryan made the movie not to entertain, but also honor past and celebrate art. I give this movie a 10 out of 10, man. This was very a well-done movie, well shot, and I would like to see this movie done, maybe a prequel or maybe even something a little bit later down the line. But again, man, thank you for hanging out with Down and Hangout FM, the podcast where you can hang out. I'm your host, Maalik Reynolds, and I would like to thank you all for joining us. And remember, peace and love.